Alright guys, so starting off on this video, I'm going to pre-warn, if you are a kid, you should probably not watch this one, because what we're going to talk about in here is probably going to be a little on the upsetting side. So, spoiler alert, if you are a big fan of Christmas and you're a kid, you might want to swipe away. Anyway, now that that's been said, we actually kind of been talking a little bit the past couple days, and we kind of figured we would see how this goes. I mean, Christmas is a problem, like, in our opinion. There's a few things that really make us feel a little uncomfortable, a lot of uncomfortable, and just some stuff that I don't think a lot of people really put too much thought into. And this all kind of spawned out of me being as obsessed and hyped with Halloween as I am. You know, I actually ended up finding out that apparently, you know, there's a big belief that if you celebrate Halloween and you're a Catholic, Christian, or whatever, like, you're going to go to hell because you're celebrating Satan's holiday and whatnot. Which, number one, actually, to throw a curveball in this, I don't really actually celebrate Halloween. I actually don't even like Halloween. I hate Halloween. When Halloween happens, I'm depressed. I'm upset, because then that means I got to take all my decorations down. So I don't look forward to Halloween. I look forward to August 1st, when I can start decorating and when stores start selling stuff so I can start going on shopping sprees like we do. I don't actually like Halloween. And you could probably try to argue with me on that, but actually, to a fact, I don't partake in trick-or-treating. I don't go out with kids doing trick-or-treating, and myself, like, I don't even pass out candy. Like, if you guys are subs that have been with me for a while, then you would know, on the trick-or-treat nights, I don't actually hand out the candy. I keep an eye on the display and make sure my creation is functioning correctly, my artwork, my, you know, huzzah that I do. I don't actually partake in the Halloween traditions of the actual celebration. I really don't. There's really no holiday that I would say I actually celebrate or like. I just like horror, and that's why everything is Halloween all year round, because it's all about the horror stuff. It's nothing to really do with the holiday. But apparently, if you celebrate Halloween, you're going to hell. Well, the hell with that, because if you celebrate Christmas, then you might have your own problems. Now, she's got a few good points that we're going to touch base on, and I have one very strong point that I'm going to battle my end on. And I'm going to throw it out there just outright that everybody goes to church. Like, not everybody goes to church, but like, a lot of people go to church, and even in church, they will, you know, have a Merry Christmas, whatever. Some churches actually have Christmas trees with presents and stuff that they do. Now, see, the idea of the Christmas tree itself, to me, is kind of like a passive object, kind of like a like think about how do I want to put this? It's kind of like a conduit. Like, think of like Annabelle, how Annabelle is the doll for the demon. Well, the Christmas tree is kind of that structure, iconic conduit for, you know, it's the distraction, because essentially Christmas is Jesus's birthday. If you go to church, they'll celebrate the birth of Christ, that they say. But where do we celebrate anything even close to that? Like, Christmas is not, where are we celebrating that? Where are we having a birthday party with the kids celebrating Jesus's birthday? We're not doing that. We're actually committing a lot of sins, and it's crazy that nobody really touches base on this. But so let's kind of start off here with the fact that I'm going to go over the 7 deadly sins. Now, you and I talked about this the other day, and you laughed about a lot of it because a lot of this is just completely ridiculous. So a lot of what is deadly sins, like you're going straight to hell, is honestly, it makes no sense. And this is like something I could just ramble on forever. But anyway, think in your head, we're focusing on Christmas here. We're going to go down the list here, and I'm actually going to go opposite of how they have them listed here. So not in order of their how they should be ordered, but we have one of the 7 deadly sins being envy, which I mean, have you not seen envy in Christmas? I mean, so envy is jealousy towards another's happiness. Now, you have a lot of siblings.
Yes.
Have you not seen one of them be envious of what somebody else got?
Yep.
Like, I mean, actually, better yet, like, obviously, we're not going to get too into, like, our personal stuff, but we actually just witnessed that recently when one of your siblings found out that someone else got more. We did, and that,
Yep.
and that just came to light.
Yes,
and
it did.
and it's actually an honest fact. So technically your sister sinned because she got envious, which, to be fair, Christmas should be fair. You shouldn't, you should not be, favoritism with your own children. Let's just be completely clear and open and honest about that. That is just messed up. But it makes the children commit a sin, especially if they're not an only child and they're siblings. So envy happens, and it'll happen with, adults with family members and things like that. Like, it'll happen. Envy is something that is a strong point in Christmas, and I don't want to hear anybody argue about it, because number one, all those happy Christmas movies you watch, they are so vomitable because they're bullcrap. Watch the horror movies. Watch movies like Krampus. Watch movies like what was that movie we seen, like, what was it last year? I think it was like Silent Night or whatever, one where it was the rich family and Santa Claus had to, like, kill the people robbing them and stuff. I forget what it was called. I think it was like Silent Night or Deadly Night or something like that. But you watch the horror movies for Christmas, and you see a lot of the honest how Christmas really is. Like, you see the adults stressing out and the kids being buttholes, and the families coming together and not really wanting to be together, but they suck it up and deal with it. I mean, you can't tell me that that's not really how it is. I mean, all this stuff plastered up for Christmas is all this, even with the oh God, someone needs to put Mariah Carey in a box and throw her in the ground 6 feet deep so we don't ever have to hear her Christmas music ever again. But lock her up and throw away the damn key. But it's the point is that it's really not like that for a lot of people, which we'll go on with that more later. But we're going to get back to our sins here because we love our sins. So first one we got was envy. The next one, greed. Greed, the excessive desire for material things. I mean, do I need to really elaborate what?
You shouldn't have to.
I don't need to elaborate that. Greed, the excessive desire for material things. Every child, the night before Christmas and Christmas morning, is greed. So they start their day, they go into Christmas sinning. They wake up a sinner. They go to sleep a sinner. And then when they see their brother or sister get the toy that they wanted, then they sin again with the envy. So, greed. I don't need to continue that one. Then we have wrath. Uncontrolled feelings of hatred and anger. Now that one could go either way. Now, you could have that followed up with the envy and the greed, where, oh, well, my brother, my sister got this, and I didn't get this, and, you know, you could have that there, but we could also have that emotion with the children who don't get anything, because more of a fact on, you know, you get the celebrities and stuff, like I just said about the whole Mariah Carey thing and locking her in a box. But like we just saw on, what was it, on Instagram or something, where Shaq was in an interview with some lady, and he was actually laughing at her because she said that she doesn't overdo Christmas with her kids. She gets them, you know, minimal gifts, important things that they like, but she keeps it more on a down-to-earth level. And Shaq literally called himself, what did he say, Shaka Claus, and said that his kids get everything, whatever they want. You know, when you have the children that are in poor families and Santa Claus can't do it, you know, especially when kids go to school. You know, you got the kids that are the popular kids that come from the rich families, and then you got the kids that, you know, they get the free meals at school because their parents just can't do it. And, you know, those kids have no idea what those parents are doing just to keep the roof over their head. And, you know, asshole Timmy over here is coming in with a brand new iPad, and he treats everybody like crap. And then you have the kid who's bullied, picked on, his life sucks, he's miserable all the time, and he's sitting there looking out the window hoping to Santa to get something, that his life can change, and, you know, that he can have something nice for once. Even a nice pair of socks. Like a kid like that gets nothing would appreciate even having a nice pair of socks or a nice new shirt or something, you know. And, you know, that transitions into wrath, because, you know, they're going to get to a point where they become angry. They begin to hate and not understand, and then they think that something's wrong with them, and they don't understand why Santa doesn't like them. And they start to see, okay, well, you know, Timmy asshole who's bullying me comes in with a brand new iPad, so, you know, maybe I need to be a bully. And, you know, it kind of, you see where I'm getting with it, and I think that that's a very, very strong, valid point. You know, there are kids that get left out, and it turns into wrath. Then we have sloth, which sloth is laziness, lack of effort. I don't understand how that's a sin. I think we've all had a lazy day. I think we've all had days where there's just no effort put in. I don't think you have to have effort put in every single day. I don't know what that has to do with being a sin. I guess we're all just going to hell at this point. But you definitely have sloth in Christmas, because you do have the people that, you know, oh, I'm getting drugged here because I have to be with the family, but I'm not going to buy gifts. I'm not pitching in for this. I'm not doing this. You have that.
Or traditional families who they don't get dressed. They're in their pajamas all day. They sit around, they watch TV, they watch movies, they're not active, they don't go, they don't leave the house.
Yeah. Like, it's, I don't understand that one, but it's another sin. So, out of 7 sins so far, we touched base on 4 of them. There's still 3 more. And so far, all 4 rocked it on Christmas, period. Next one, pride. Again, I don't understand how that's a sin. But pride, inflated sense of one's accomplishments. You have the overachiever, the overgiver, the overcooker, the mother, grandmother, great grandmother that has to have the perfect table loaded with all the food prepared and all the attention to detail completely done, and all the gifts, and everybody's got to be dressed up wearing the same stupid sweater for the same stupid picture that makes everybody miserable. You have your prideful person. Gluttony. To overindulge, especially by overeating. Again, you have your Christmas dinner. And that's, as I just said, kind of going along with the pride one of the over provider for making the meal and things like that. You will have your gluttonous people, especially, when you have that sloth person that comes over, the family sloth, and he's just like, cool, I'm hitting all the alcohol, I'm hitting all the food, if it's free, it's for me. And there's your gluttonous person. So, and that's another one that is. That's the truth. And then our last one here is lust. And that's the unrestrained sexual craving. Now, you might sit here and be like, okay, I'll give you the 6, but you're not getting all 7. No, I'm getting all 7. Because, number one, in how many songs they talk about the mistletoe, how many people put mistletoe up? That is lustful, because you want your under the mistletoe kiss. And again, you still have, your lust is trying to get your girlfriend or get, your wife or the girl you like, the perfect stuff to try to, get her to like you and stand out and things like that. Like you still have lust. Maybe that's not as severe as all the other ones. It's probably, that one's probably the more rare one to specific families, but all 6 pretty much pertain to every single household for Christmas. The lust one, I will say it's there, but it is not in every scenario. So you mean to tell me that on Jesus's birthday, the day that we should be the most humble and celebrate the birth of Christ, we commit every single deadly sin the moment we wake up in the morning? But you're going to hell for celebrating Halloween. I think it's worse, honestly, that on what should be such a religious-based day, there is literally so much sin. And it doesn't even have to be about religion here. Let's put the religion to the side. You have so much heartbreak, so much depression, so much being upset, so many fake smiles. You are with how many people you don't want to be around. You're spending money on people that you don't want to spend money on, and it's the damn truth. And you have how many children that go without and have nothing. Meanwhile, half the world is celebrating and so happy and getting everything they want, but yet there's children out there that are going to have completely nothing. Okay, yeah, we have our toy drives, we have our stuff, Toys for Tots, we have our stuff at the churches and all that stuff. Like, there is things that help, but when you have celebrities that go on and literally, oh, my child gets everything. Look, someone who has millions and millions of dollars could literally sit there, like, maybe Shaka Claus should actually be Shaka Claus. Like, maybe Shaq should open up a thing where families that are actually poor can write into him, and even if it's a dollar toy from the dollar store, he could literally have people just buy a dollar toy from the store and mail it out to these families, and he could just simply like have a little thing printed out, Santa Claus, have a fucking picture of him on there dressed up as Santa or something funny or whatever, and send it to a kid. And you know what? Just for the fact that it was him, a kid would be ecstatic, and they wouldn't even care that it was just a Dollar Tree toy. But you're talking, even if he donated 1 million, that's 1 million toys. That's 1 million kids that probably have nothing that would get at least something. You know, maybe instead of you know, bragging so heavily on what we could get our own children, maybe actually try to actually help the other kids out there that are getting nothing. I mean, wouldn't that really genuinely be the gift of giving? Ain't that what the non-Jesus side of Christmas is supposed to be? It's supposed to be about giving, not about receiving. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. And then, you know, the one thing you're biggest on, you want to touch base on what your biggest thing is with Christmas?
Lying to your children. You make your child believe in sitting on a complete...
That leaf just like, hello.
Just scared. You make your children believe that sitting on a stranger's lap and telling him what you want for Christmas is okay. And that a stranger comes in your house while you're sleeping, eats your food, drinks your milk, watches you while you're sleeping, watches you all year round, and then leaves you presents. People think that that's acceptable.
I mean, that does kind of scream pedophile. I mean,
yes.
I'm not saying the guys who dress up and play Santa for the job, I'm not saying that they're pedophiles, but let's think about it. We don't want kids, you know, jumping into some stranger's van because they're waving a candy bar, but it's, oh yeah, let's go sit you on that guy's lap. You're literally sitting on the dude's lap. You're teaching a kid to literally sit on their lap and ask for something, and telling them that this guy watches you, and you're making your kids comfortable with a complete stranger, and saying that, you know, if he's in the house, he's allowed in the house. And
that gives the opening for any burglar, any kidnapper to order an Amazon costume Santa Claus, and your child is, okay, that's Santa Claus, yeah, I'm getting in his car, or, oh, that's Santa Claus, I'm opening up the door for him.
Mm-hmm.
And there goes your child, based off of you lying to your child their whole life.
Yeah, because, well, if anybody watched Terrifier 3,
yes.
Terrifier 3, the beginning of it was him dressed up as Santa.
Yeah.
And, you know, that little girl could have screamed because there was somebody in the house, but instead she initially sat back and let him, you know, she was afraid because she had seen that he had a weapon and stuff. She was kind of creeped out, but she also thought that he was supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. So it makes a bad impression because you're teaching your kids that, okay, some guy that dresses up as Santa, you know, if you see him in your house, you know, which all the kids want to try to catch Santa in the house. You know, they all want to stay up and try to catch him. But if there's a burglar, all that burglar has to do is look at the kid and go, shh. And guess what? Mommy and daddy ain't going to know he's there. And next thing you know, that kid's out in a van or something. It's honestly the truth. I don't think that's something that really happens too often. I don't know if I haven't really heard of it much. I'm sure if it does happen, it gets hush. But it's just a point, is that you're making your kids comfortable with a complete stranger. And then, you know, we'll go to like that lustful part too, which is also weird, is that you have, especially the one song, but I know it's referred to a bunch of times, because a lot of things like to tease the idea of Santa and it being actually your dad. But you have the whole mother kissing Santa Claus song, and how the kid basically, and the end story of interpretation here, kid gets to come down the steps and think, wow, mommy's a whore. Because she's sucking up on another man And it's all, shh, don't tell daddy. Mommy's making out with the guy dropping off presents that's a complete stranger that you sat on his lap. Like, is that not kind of another point here on, is that not weird?
I mean, and kind of getting off the topic of Christmas a little bit, it's the same thing with Halloween and all these other holidays. You know, Halloween, you tell your children all year round, don't talk to strangers, don't get in a stranger's van. But then you have trunk or treat, where you walk up to a stranger's van, you get candy from their van, or you're walking up to a stranger's home and taking candy. But then after Halloween is done and over with, you tell your children, you're right back to telling them, don't take candy from a stranger.
Yep.
Which is why our children do not partake in trick-or-treating.
Yep. Like I said, we don't really celebrate actually Halloween.
And our children have wonderful Christmases, they really do. But on the other topic, our children we do not lie to our children. We do not tell our children to believe in Santa Claus, a random man. Our children know that whatever they have comes from mom and dad. They know that if they be good all year, or they behave, they do what they're supposed to, they do get toys, they get what they want on Christmas. We don't go overboard and spoil our children because we spoil them all year round. I don't like the fact that it's a holiday meant for spoiling your children. That gives the okay for adults to not buy their children anything all year round because, oh, if you want this, well, cool, you can get it for Christmas. They blow off birthdays, they blow off all the other holidays, they blow off parenting for one day out of the year to give gifts to your children. Our children get things all the time, all year round. I have there's a few families out there that I love what they do. They do the, I think it's the 4 or the 5 gift rule. Something you need, something you want, something to wear, something to read, something to eat, special snacks, something like that. Each child has a specific amount of presents. They have exactly what they want, but not an abundance of, oh, well, we got to save thousands of dollars to spend for your child to be happy one day out of the year.
Well, it's not everything you want too. Like you'll have your big gift. Like
right.
you get your big gift.
Yes.
But your big gift might be, okay, you wanted a tablet, or you wanted a video game, or you wanted, something that would be the big gift. It's not going to be, oh, I got the tablet, I got the drone, I got the this, I got the that. You got your one, and then you got your other things, your other things for interacting. You got some educational stuff, and you got some stuff that you need, and some goodies. You variety it a little bit, but you got to stay fair between all the kids.
Yes.
Don't pick one. No, don't do that.
Having one child have 5 gifts while the other child has, even if it's just 6. Okay, why does he have one more gift than I do? That's not fair.
And you got to figure, kids look at size too. Kids do not realize the dollar value on things. They look at the size. So like, if you have a daughter and you get her that big Barbie doll dream house thing, that's a pretty massive size present, then maybe get your son a really big Hot Wheels thing. Like, they make the really big Hot Wheels tracks that are like the multi-level. You gotta look at the size aspect of it as well. Get that big stuffed animal for all the kids. It's just sad how Christmas is just, it's looked at as such a joyous holiday, and that's literally what they call it, and it's honestly not. And I mean, I'm going to touch base on this one too, and I'll probably catch some crap for this, but I'm going to make my biggest point here, and this is not to be rude, offensive, or racist. And by saying that, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. You want your kids to believe in Santa. Stay with me here. I'm not being rude. I'm making a fact. when you go in Lowe's or Home Depot or anything and you see animatronics and inflatables, now you have two different races of Santa. Now you have white Santa and you have black Santa. Again, I'm not saying Santa can't be black. I'm not saying that. But
You have some children going to school saying Santa's Caucasian. Then you have some children going to school saying no, Santa Claus is African American, and that's going to cause fighting because Santa Claus can't be two different races at once.
we'll see. But that's where the thing is, though. In technical term, he is, because it's your dad. So
Right.
if your dad's black, he's black Santa. If he's
Right.
white, he's white Santa.
But children don't know that.
Right, and for years, children have always believed that Santa was white. Santa started off as a white character, so it's like which some kids might not, they're still little,
Yeah.
but it's going to definitely influence them figuring it out sooner, because they're going to be like, well, why is there, like, probably once they get a little older and they kind of realize a few things, they're going to figure it out faster, and that's going to be one of those key aspects that
Yeah.
they hit on. I mean, I honestly like that, you go to the store now and they have the for like, well, Home Depot didn't do it with their animatronics yet, but I think it was Lowe's did it with theirs. I don't know if they were animatronic. No, they were animatronic. Lowe's actually did, where they had a white nutcracker and a black nutcracker.
Mhm.
That I completely agree on. I think that's, you do need to have, honestly, you need to include all the races, bring all the races together in Christmas, make it more, racially friendly for everybody.
Mhm.
But then at that rate, we don't have like an Asian Santa. We don't have, at this point, I'm waiting for them to pull a Mrs. Claus that's Santa, because you have your the diversity there on all of that, and there hasn't really been much done with that yet. I'm sure that's coming, but there's a lot that for what was going on, we should have left it alone and not really made it so adulting. But because it's going to make kids not understand. I don't know. I just see it as a kid's going to see it and be like, why is but it is true, technically, in technical term, Santa could be any race, because Santa is, dads are in every race, so it is plausible, but
It just goes right back to the lying aspect, because you punish your children for lying to you or to anybody. You punish your child for lying. Meanwhile, you are lying to your child every single day. Your child does something bad. Well, Santa Claus sees that.
mm-hmm.
No. I see that. I know what you're doing. Having your child believe in that a random person is watching you, that's kind of creepy.
Well, that's the thing, is like, you can't sit there and say, oh, well, it's just to give children something to believe in, to give them a little bit of faith in something. Well, I'm sorry, but just like I said on the whole Christianity part of it, you want your kids to believe in God and Jesus and all that, and there's no, you're talking about a figure that is just like trying to see a ghost here, and you're saying you want to give them faith. Well, then give them faith in that, because you're going to give them faith in something that's a complete lie, and then expect them to turn around and believe that God is real.
And I mean, I'm not religious at all. I'm not religious, but yeah, you're right. I mean, you expect your child to believe in an Easter bunny, Santa Claus, all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they're old enough to understand that none of that's real, well, then they're going to start to question, well, then is God real? Is the devil real? What's real and what's not anymore?
Yep. Because
Yeah.
all those fictional characters you can't see.
Yeah.
It's all belief on what you can't see.
Yeah.
So then the one thing that you are supposed to heavily believe in, they're not going to believe in.
Yeah.
That's why you're going to get so many people that stray away from God.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong?
No, and I mean, I can see where some people are going to say, oh, well, the Bible. The Bible is the only book
Yeah, but
about Jesus. There is thousands of books about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, and all of it's fake.
Yep.
How are you supposed to tell your child that the Bible that was supposedly created a long time ago from this imaginary man is real when Santa Claus isn't real anymore?
right.
It just reverts back to, yeah, you want your child to have an imagination growing up, but at the same point, you're also lying to your child, which is wrong.
And then when they figure it out, it's like
Why would you lie to me?
like I remember when I figured it out, and I figured it out because I was just joking around, and I was very, very upset when I found out that me joking around turned into me finding out that it was bullcrap. I had some pretty sore feelings. I did. But it is. It's the truth. Like there's just so much. There is so much pain. There is so much lying. There is so much future failure.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much with Christmas that, you know, people don't look at how much harm it actually does across the board.
Well, and then you know what? Going along that line of what you said, when you figured it out, you were upset. You have these full-grown adults, these parents that are narcissistic, and they say, "Oh, I've never lied to you. I would never lie. I don't lie. I'm a Jesus believer. I don't lie." But yes, you did. You lied to me my whole life growing up about these imaginary, fictionary, bullcrap stories.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you're older, it's, I've never lied to you.
Yeah.
How do you believe your parents when you're older that they're not lying to you now when they lied to you since you were born up until you found out that it was not real? They did not come out and tell you the truth of, hey buddy, Santa Claus isn't real. We just did that to make you happy. No, you found out that your parents were lying to you, and that made you mad at your parents.
Santa Claus should honestly just be used as a fictional character,
Yeah.
just like every other fictional character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, you can still have fun. You can still have fun Christmas movies, watching movies about Santa.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look, if you can watch a Chucky movie and have fun and enjoy it, I mean, that's not real, right? You know, the little doll's not running around murdering people, but you get enjoyment out of it and you watch it. It's a story. Same thing with Santa. It's a story. You can still, you know, you can still watch it, enjoy the movies of this fictional, you know, stuff.
But lying to your children is just wrong.
Now, I'm curious to know how many of you actually agree with us with this. I'd really love input in the comments. I'm sure there's some of you that are probably going to call us nuts. I don't know how you can. I mean, I think, you know, with everything we've touched base on with religion and just with families and, you know, it just across the board with the entire world, just how much pain and sinning there is on that day that is supposed to be Jesus's birthday, I just find disturbing. And this is one of those reasons why, even though, like I said, Halloween itself, I don't really celebrate the actual holiday, but I will always say I prefer Halloween over any other holiday because of the fact that Halloween is genuine happiness. You get smiles. You're not giving presents. You're not expecting anything. Okay, there's some candy passing out, but it's not such a big holiday of a get-together like Christmas or Thanksgiving, because I can't stand Thanksgiving either. But you have time for kids to just enjoy creativity, and it's actual real creativity. Kids know these monsters aren't real and this, that, and the other, but you have the haunted houses, you have all the fun scary movies, and you have all the decorations and driving around seeing decorations, and you can drive around and see decorations with Christmas too. But there's still all that just tied to all the lies and the deception and everything. Halloween does not have anything aside from just the idea of, you know, kids communicating with strangers. Halloween really doesn't have anything that makes me think that it should be a threat that if you celebrate it, you're going to hell, compared to what Christmas does.
I mean, and along with those 7 deadly sins, it doesn't even honestly have to partake in just Christmas. I mean, everybody sins at least one of those 7 deadly sins every single day.
Oh yeah.
Every day somebody's sinning. And I don't care, you know, you can sit there and go to church every Sunday, confess to whatever the heck you're confessing to. I'm not religious, so I don't know. You can do all of this. You can say you don't sin, but saying you're not sinning is a sin because you're lying.
Yep.
And before anybody comes at us, our children have an imagination. They believe in a lot of different weird, odd things, but we don't lie to our children to keep them safe.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want our child to get the wrong idea, and next thing you know, our child is getting hurt because of the lies that we portrayed on our child. So our children are happy, our children have great imaginations, but we don't lie to our children as parents. That is our responsibility to keep them safe.
Yep.
And to teach them what's real and what's fictionary.
So guys, please comment down below and let us know your thoughts on this. Storybook it. I would love for someone to storybook it. I honestly want to keep making videos like this where we kind of come on and chat and talk a little bit.
I like these.
So, you know, give us some other topics too. You know, let's start some debates. Let's stir shit up.
I'd love to give my opinion on a lot of things.
Let's stir shit up. Leave your comments. Let's go with it. And let us know. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.